Welcome and thank you for attending the State Electrical Board's stakeholder meeting via webinar today. The date is March 3rd, 2023, and the time is 1:31 p.m. Before we get started, we would like to introduce the staff members from the Division of Professions and Occupations that are present. My name is Darcy Magnuson, and I'm a regulatory analyst with the division. Also attending is Joyce Young, Program Director. Cheryl Ruiz Lucero should be here. She's the Program Director of Inspections. Michael Frenze, Inspector Supervisor. Tito Alimon, Inspector Supervisor. Aaron Skubal, Inspector Supervisor, and Justin Samuels, Inspector Supervisor. Due to concerns regarding COVID-19, the division has transitioned to a platform that is 100% virtual, and we appreciate your flexibility. As many of you have been to DORA stakeholder meetings before, we would like to reiterate the importance of your comments today. DORA makes decisions every day that may affect your life and your business, so your input is vital in the rulemaking process. Throughout this process, our goal is to create regulations that clarify and explain legislation, ensure minimum competency to enter and continue to practice, and provide only what is absolutely necessary for consumer protection without creating unnecessary barriers to the marketplace. Your input will be part of the information, that goes to the board as it considers adopting revisions to the rules. More specifically, today we will be discussing proposed changes throughout the board's rules. Well, it's not throughout, to board rules 1.1 and 1.2 to properly update the incorporation by reference of the National Electric Code to the most current version, and to add the finding schedule the violation of applying for an electrical permit if not a qualified applicant. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the board's website by the close of business on Monday. As the stakeholder meeting is held solely by webinar, please raise your hand using the hand icon if you would like to speak, and we will unmute your line so you will be heard by everyone, or you can type your comment in the question section and we will read it aloud. Before we start taking comments, and I will show my screen here shortly, we ask that anyone providing comments, please state your name and the name of the organization that you represent, if any. Feel free to provide either general comments on the rule changes or specific comments on the proposed language. And I don't think this will be a problem, but please try to limit your comments to no more than 3 to 5 minutes and try not to repeat something that was already said. You're welcome to state whether you agree with something that someone else said, and we will note that. If you are using the audio through your computer, please remember to put any phones on vibrate or turn them off. And whether you are using computer or phone audio, try to keep background noises to a minimum when speaking. So let me show my screen and we'll briefly, Joyce, if you want to say anything, you're welcome to jump in too. But you should be able to, sorry, Joyce.
I don't have anything at this time. Thank you, Darcy.
Okay, so you should be able to see the draft changes. Just so everyone knows, they are posted on the board's website under the public notices tab. That's where you will find the most current version of the draft rules. Also on the board's website under the public notices tab is where you can find the written comments that we have received. And as we receive those written comments via email, we will continue to update the link on the website, so you can always check there. That's the same place where we will post the recording from today's meeting. So board's website, public notices tab. Briefly, before we start taking comments, you can see the draft rules. As we mentioned, just updating the date for the incorporation by reference of the National Electrical Code to the most current version, so to 2023 as opposed to 2020. And then in rule 1.2, and I think there's a small typo here that we need to fix, but adding to the finding schedule, so you can see under 1.2 is enforcement, and that's applying for an electrical permit if not a qualified applicant, and you could see the proposed finding amount. So if anyone would like to provide any feedback, any comments regarding these proposed changes, now is your chance to do that. And this recording will be on the board's website and also given to the board members prior to the board's next meeting. So we'll pause here. for a few minutes and see if anyone wants to provide comments. Tim McClintock, I have unmuted you. We should be able to hear you once you unmute.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Tim McClintock, and I represent the National Fire Protection Association. I'm a regional electrical specialist, and just want to provide brief comment that NFPA supports state of Colorado moving forward with updating to the 2023 edition of the NEC, and we are here to provide any support for the state. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alrighty, any other comments? I'll give it another minute or so. And for anyone that just joined, at this point in time, we're asking for stakeholder feedback regarding the proposed changes, which are updating the National Electrical Code incorporation by reference to the most current version, and then also adding into the enforcement section under the violations, the new binding authority for the board. And we do have it doesn't seem to be related to rulemaking. I will read it, and then Joyce, you can chime in if you want. It's from Sifredo Itara. If an electrician is found on the job site without a license or permit, can a stop work order be issued along with fines? Actually, maybe it is related. Joyce, I don't know if you want to address that.
That would be based on the authority of the inspector on site, but definitely a complaint can be filed against that individual with our board office. You can visit our website and file a complaint at the electrical board's website.
Thank you, Joyce. And I'm just going to change this to electrical as opposed to plumbing. I think it was just a copy and paste error, so everyone can see. Alrighty. So it doesn't look like we have any other comments. So I will go ahead and wrap up and go over next steps. Thank you for participating in today's meeting and for being here. Oh wait, we received another comment. Jonathan Jesnak, is there someone that is enforcing the apprentice to license ratio on each project and for all companies? Did you want to answer that one, Joyce?
Yeah, so that typically takes place by the inspector. If they find that violation, they would submit that information to the board, and the board will take action based on any complaint filed, including any complaints filed by state inspectors regarding that issue.
Thank you, Joyce. Okay. So just to wrap up, all comments and program recommendations will be given to the board for review prior to its next meeting on March 29th, 2023. If the board proposes any additional changes, then we will reach back out to stakeholders before the board deliberates on the final version of the rules, which will happen at the permanent rulemaking hearing that is tentatively scheduled right now for May 31st, 2023. At that hearing, stakeholders will have an opportunity to testify before the board regarding the proposed changes, and then the board will decide what changes to adopt at that meeting on May 31st, 2023. That concludes our stakeholder meeting, and we thank you for your participation. We are going to go ahead and end the webinar now.